The most lively fancy aided by the strongest description cannot equal the reality of the opera. The events of my life are too unimportant, and have too little interest for any person not of my immediate family, to render them worth communicating or preserving. The government of the Union, though limited in its powers, is supreme within its sphere of action, and its laws, when made in pursuance of the Constitution, form the supreme law of the land. When a law is in its nature a contract, when absolute rights have vested under that contract, a repeal of the law cannot divest those rights. The French Revolution will be found to have had great influence on the strength of parties, and on the subsequent political transactions of the United States. To listen well is as powerful a means of communication and influence as to talk well. What is it that makes us trust our judges? Their independence in office and manner of appointment. The very essence of civil liberty certainly consists in the right of every individual to claim the protection of the laws, whenever he receives an injury. One of the first duties of government is to afford that protection. No political dreamer was ever wild enough to think of breaking down the lines which separate the states and compounding the American people into one common mass. The law does not expect a man to be prepared to defend every act of his life which may be suddenly and without notice alleged against him. The people made the Constitution, and the people can unmake it. It is the creature of their own will, and lives only by their will. In a free government almost all other rights would become worthless if the government possessed power over the private fortune of every citizen. It is emphatically the province and duty of the judicial department to say what the law is. If two laws conflict with each other, the courts must decide on the operation of each. This is of the very essence of judicial duty. The peculiar circumstances of the moment may render a measure more or less wise, but cannot render it more or less constitutional. I have always believed that national character depends more on the female part of society than is generally imagined. Precepts from the lips of a beloved mother sink deep in the heart, and make an impression which is seldom entirely effaced. Paris presents one incessant round of amusement and dissipation, but very little, I believe, even for its inhabitants of that society, which interests the heart. Every day, you may see something new, magnificent and beautiful. Every night, you may see a spectacle which astonishes and enchants the imagination. My father superintended the English part of my education, and to his care I am indebted for anything valuable which I may have acquired in my youth. He was my only intelligent companion, and was both a watchful parent and an affectionate friend. If the agency of the mother in forming the character of her children is, in truth, so considerable, as I think it, if she does so much toward making her son what she would wish him to be, how essential is it that she should be fitted for the beneficial performance of these important duties. I was born on the 24th of September 1755 in the county of Fauquier, at that time one of the frontier counties of Virginia. My father possessed scarcely any fortune and had received a very limited education, but was a man to whom nature had been bountiful, and who had assiduously improved her gifts. During intervals of humanity, some disposition has been manifested to permit the return of those who have never offended, who have been banished by a terror which the government itself has reprobated, and to permit in case of arrestation, an investigation of the fact of emigration as well as of the identity of the person accused.